Hi Flosstube, I hope all's well. My name is Kirsty, Crafting Kirsty here on YouTube and also on Instagram. It is Wednesday the 8th of November 2023 and this is Flosstube number 24. In my video today I've got stitching, a small amount of quilting, some knitting and some crochet to talk about. I think it's been about 4 or 5 weeks since my last video. I also have the Stitch in London retreat that I went to discuss. I'm going to do that reasonably briefly actually. Stitch in London was organised by Marie of Stitches and Diamonds, and if you want a full in-depth recap, I would suggest you go to Sarah of Sew Me Sarah, who has done the full works as a review on Stitch in London, or Michelle, Mama Loves You GB. She also did quite a comprehensive recap of the weekend. And in theirs, they talk about the vendors, the tutorials, the freebies, the cross-stitch patterns that we were given as our retreat pieces, and lots of the freebies that were being passed around, and table gifts and things like that. So I think they've done a far better job than I would be able to do. So as I said, if you want to know all the details about the Stitch in London retreat, those are the two ladies to go and watch. I would just say that I had a fantastic weekend as ever. So this is the second time I've been to Stitch in London. I can't quite, last year I definitely went, but I can't quite remember how much of it I went for. I had a great time last year, I had a fabulous time this year. I did the full weekend this year. I arrived before the doors opened and I left as they were quite literally beginning to close. I had an absolutely lovely table. So my friend Chris and I, who is Body Stitcher on Instagram, and Stitchy Rachel had, who's on Instagram and Flosstube, had been messaging and saying that we'd try and sit together. And I'd said that last year my only slight negative on the weekend had been that the table I was on, as lovely as it was great people on it, it was in a darker corner of the room and I did struggle a bit to see on my fabric that I'd taken to stitch. So I said, you know, I want to get in and get across, because one side of the room is just full panel doors the whole way along. It's just glass the whole way along. So I said, I'd like to try and get a table near the windows so that I can see a bit better. So we sort of sprinted across, or I sprinted across and got the table. Chris came and joined me. And then Jane Crumpler came and joined us, who is a friend of Chris's, and she's a lovely, lovely lady. And she is one of those ladies who I think you really should be doing a Flosstube, because every now and again she's bought quite a few pieces with her, and every now and again she'd bring out yet another huge, lovely sampler that she was 3/4 of the way through. So, oh yes, I've been stitching on this, and oh, I've nearly finished this piece. And so yeah, Jane, if you're ever in doubt, please do a Flosstube. You've got some fantastic pieces, which I'm sure everyone would love to see. We were then joined by Noreen and Sarah. So Sarah of Sew Me Sarah on Flosstube, and Noreen is Sarah's friend. They're both from Northern Ireland. So it was lovely to meet them and to chat away. They were just, yeah, they were such good fun. Lovely ladies. Really pleased to spend the weekend sitting with them. And then we had Whitney from America. She was our token American on the table, and she was just great. She was full on into the retreat mode. She was stitching everything. She did all the tutorials. She gave us the most fantastic table presents, which was very kind of her. And yeah, she was just, you know, again, another lovely lady to sit and chat. And then we had Edna, who came and joined us, and Edna was absolutely lovely again. Yeah, just, you know, what more is there to say other than that we had a fantastic table, really, really nice weekend, just very relaxed, easygoing, and great fun. So thank you very much to everyone who sat on my table, and thank you to everyone else at the retreat, because actually everyone was lovely and friendly, and just it made for a really, really good weekend. Oh, I wanted to mention Sally of Flossie Sews and Grows here on YouTube. She had messaged me a couple of times to say that she was going to be there. She's looking forward to meeting me. So we had a chat away, and I am hoping that we'll be able to meet when I go up to Liverpool at some point to see our son, who's up there at university. And I think we might do a quick trip to one of the stitching shops in the area. So Sally, it was lovely to meet you, and we will get that arranged at some point, hopefully. And I think that's about all. Since I've been back from there, we've had a weekend where we went up to Derbyshire, did 2 days walking, met up with one of our daughters who's at university up there. That was very nice. And then we have had a very quick trip up to Liverpool, but it was very last minute, where we went to see our son, and then we had a day out in Chester actually, because it was his reading week. And so we just went and had a day in Chester, which is a lovely city, never been to before, definitely want to go back. Did a couple of the Roman experiences and museums whilst we were there. Really, really good, very interesting, and as I said, lovely city. Been back from that, had various things on, and then this coming Saturday I am up to Retford, which is up the A1, about an hour up the A1 from me, and I am going to the Floss Friends UK retreat. I'm only going for the day. I went to it this time last year, and I went for the day, and it's lovely. It was a great retreat, very well organised. I was just saying something, it's not a pain for me in the least, but it's just one of those distances where, as I said, it's only about an hour up the A1. So it's not really far enough to justify a hotel overnight. But equally, if I came back on, I can't really justify then driving back again on the Sunday. So I'm only doing the day. So if you're going to be there on Saturday, please do A, let me know, or B, come and say hello. And then I think in a couple of weekends' time, so towards the back end of November, I will be at the Essex Needles retreat for their Stitchy Day. So I'll be looking forward to catching up with the ladies from there. So, and I think that's about it then. I think then I am retreated out until next March when I go back to the Essex Needles. So, stitching, what have I been doing? I have a finish. I managed to finish, so this is OctoberRide from Pineberry Lane. I started this in August with Ellie Welly Stitcher, Alison Stitching Whippet, and Ali Stitcher on Instagram. And this is now the third Pineberry Lane piece that we've all started together at the beginning of August. So I can't remember what the fabric is, but it's very nice fabric. I can't remember what it is. And I think the flosses, I probably pulled my own. But I know on the Saturday at the Stitch in London, I had not much left of this to stitch, and Stitchy Rach didn't have much left of one of her pieces to stitch. So we ended up in a bit of a competition of a bit of a stitch off to see who was going to finish first. Poor old Rachel, I think she had frogged her piece quite a few times, and I was getting a little bit tense about who was going to win, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to have to frog again." I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." Yes, I'm going to win. So I managed to get my finish before Rachel did, but she finished her piece not long after me. So that's that piece. I don't know how I'm going to finish it. Probably just as a stand up on an easel, I should imagine, or something like that. The next piece I have put, so I haven't organised myself very well. Next piece I've put quite a bit of work into, and I've actually managed to achieve what I had hoped to achieve over this last month, is Heloise Cornu 1896 from Reflets Soie. Now, it does say version rouge at the top, and I really haven't paid much attention to that. And then I was watching, I think it's Caroline Lee, or I can't remember her name, I'm sorry, Stitching is Elementary. I really enjoy her Flosstubes because she also quilts as well. And she's stitching this, only her piece is not all red. Her piece, I suppose, is the original colours. And of course I saw hers, and it's all quite light pinks and greens, and she's on the border, she's not far in, but she's doing the border at the moment, and it's lovely. And of course I thought, wish I'd done that right. And I hadn't actually registered that there were two versions of this. So if you're not that fussed on red samplers, gasp, horror, shock, I know, if you're not that fussed on them, but you like this, there is a second version in lovely, I'm going to say pastel-y colours. I haven't seen that much of it, but at the moment it's very pretty. So that's Stitching is Elementary if you want to find her on Instagram to see hers. But anyway, I am doing mine. I'm doing the red version on 36 count vellum, and I am using Hugs and Kisses from Cottage Garden Threads, and I have managed to finish my border. So I think the last time we chatted, or I chatted to you, I was about here, and I have got sort of a little bit of this section done. So I've basically done this bottom corner, and it all joined up, and yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. That paprika. There we go, hopefully it'll be covered by something. Now, I was stitching on this at Stitch in London, and I did ask for everyone's opinions because I wasn't convinced I wanted to do all the middle section in the variegated threads. And so we were sort of deciding, you know, what areas I should do either dark or light or whatnot. And I had a look this morning, I pulled a whole load of my DMC out, and I by no means have a comprehensive range of DMC. But I pulled out all the reds that I had, and nothing really quite fitted. So I think I still have a full skein and a half of the Cottage Garden Threads left. And I am going, at the end of this month, we've got a girls' day out to Northampton, where we've got 2 quilting shops. And one of them is Poppy Patch, which were the original suppliers of these Cottage Garden Threads here in the UK. So hopefully I will be able to pick it up from there, or pick up another skein from there. And if I can't, I know that Sue at Peakside Needleworks now has Cottage Garden Threads as well. So I've decided I am going to, I think initially when I was stitching on it, and I was quite sort of close up to it stitching on it, I was thinking, yeah, you don't really get a huge amount of definition, and it is quite busy in the middle, but actually now I've done the full border, I think it's absolutely fine. And I think if I try and match reds, either light or dark, I'm not going to be happy with it. So I am going to continue on, as I said, in my Cottage Garden Threads with that, and I will probably just keep on working on this at the moment because I am enjoying it. I might leave off the very bottom line, so that's the name of the girl who stitched it, and I might just either put my name underneath, or I might leave it off and just put my initials in there, possibly in something else. I don't know. We'll see when we get to it. But ultimately, the big decision has been made. I'm just going to carry on with the threads I was initially using. And now I have 2 starts and finishes to show you. So once we got to September and I had, or October, and I'd finished my Morris dancer, one of my plans had been to then spend October, November, December trying to do some Christmas smalls. And so I thought, right, well, I'll pull some of those out. So the first one that came out was Christmas is Coming from Plum Street Samplers. And this says, Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. And so I have started and finished. Do you have that one? I think I pulled the majority of the colours that were asked for. There's not many, obviously. And then I think I don't think I like the red, so I changed, oh, wrong side, sorry. So I changed the red to one that I preferred, and I think I changed the green. I think, you can't really see it there. The green on the tree was actually far greyer than the green, so I decided to pull the green that I wanted and thought went with the red. So this is the second one. And then this is the third one. And this is stitched on Access Commodities 30 count Portobello. I think I bought Fat Quarter from Patchwork Rabbit a while ago now, and I've just got around to using it. So I'm quite pleased with those, and I will either be finishing them as pillows or cushions, Sarah. Or I will just again finish them as flat pieces to put onto easels, or just to wedge into the Christmas decorations, apparently. And then the second start and finish I had on Christmas Smalls was Christmas Bells from Nikyscreations. Absolutely love these. And again, I used the rest of the 30 count Portobello from Access Commodities. I think I only finished these this morning, or the last one this morning. So we've got a deer, a very wonky donkey deer there. Look at the legs on that, that's fantastic. That is how it's charted. Oh, there we go. We have a little Christmas tree with, sorry the light's not fantastic, some red baubles. We have these 3 birds with some holly leaves. And we have, God, I can't see where I am, this little house down here. Now I haven't been overly frugal with my fabric, mainly because the template for this is actually quite a decent size. So whilst you don't, because you stitch it back sides together or wrong side together and then you just do a blanket stitch around it, you don't lose your 1/4 inch. But equally, you still need to have that 1/4 inch to sew around. So where is my template? Comes, she says. Have I lost my template? No. So yeah, so it's actually quite a large template, which is why I gave myself lots of room. I thought, you know what, just don't mess it up. Give yourself the room and cut it out. So yeah, so I'm very pleased with those. So that's 2 patterns of various smalls that I can now get finished for Christmas. And I will choose another small in a couple of days' time to start. I did go through my patterns and pulled out a whole load of sort of Christmassy smalls. I don't know what I'm starting yet. I'll see what takes my fancy, probably Friday morning when I get around to starting it. So that's all the stitching I've done. That's all the stitching I've done. But I have got some haul, obviously, from a Stitch in London. I wasn't going to buy anything. I didn't need anything. Yeah, bought it anyway. So Marie of Stitches in Diamonds had a shop there, and I haven't got any of these out of the packages, sorry. And I bought the Merry Noel collection, Santa's on His Way, from Homespun Elegance from her. So that's very pretty, and those stars are just stitched on, I should imagine, wool, or what does it say? Oh yes, so she's used quilt batting actually, warm and natural quilt batting that I coffee dyed, or you can cross stitch the stars. Oh, and the ground, sorry, the snow on the ground as well is also the batting. I'm not sure, I think she must have a slightly different batting to mine, because I think mine would fray incredibly quickly. I'm sure I've got some wool I'll be able to use instead. But anyway, so that is Homespun Elegance, Santa's on His Way. Hip hip hooray. And then from Yasmin Made with Love, she had a lot of her designs there. So I bought this chart, not necessarily for the saying, I might put something else in there. We were coming up with some ruder sayings we could put in there about marriage and love, but I probably won't be doing any of those either. But yes, I love it, folk arty, and yeah, I like the colours. So there we have that one. So that's Love Makes Everything Easy from Yasmin Made with Love. Also from Yasmin Made with Love, I bought the Halloween Ride, because it's got an owl and a pumpkin and a fox. And also I bought Christmas Ride, because she is doing a series. So we saw the fox and the owl, but just in a pomegranate, or maybe a cranberry. Pomegranate, don't know. But yes, I won't be doing it on the Doughty fabric. I know that's not what it's called. Petty Point linen. I don't think I'll be using that, but very pretty designs anyway. And then the Crow's Feet Stitching was also there, who is Ruthie Taylor. And I saw this sampler stitched up. Oh, I didn't. I saw this pattern and thought, oh, okay. And then I saw the sampler stitched up. I thought, oh, that's lovely. So I have bought Fanny Walton. It's very pretty when it's stitched up. So that's from Crow's Feet Stitching. I also bought, appropriately enough, Merry Christmas from Crow's Feet Stitching. That's lovely. I bought the Halloween drum. I probably won't turn it into a drum, but he looks quite cool. And there is, I can't remember what it is around the back now. And then I bought pincushions and drum based on a Bristol sampler. So Ruthie has a big red Bristol sampler, and then she's taken these three motifs out of it. And I thought they were very sweet. I doubt I'll do them in red, but I did just quite like them. And then there was a raffle. So yeah, there was a raffle at the Stitch in London, which I didn't win anything at. And then Noreen on our table won the grand raffle prize, which was just this huge selection of charts and things, which actually was for a slightly different cause, I think. Anyway, she came back to the table literally arms laden with charts and goodies, and she very kindly sort of went through it and decided the ones that either she wasn't going to stitch or that she already had, and she passed them around the table and asked us to choose one. So I chose Susanna Hartley 1824, which is a reproduction sampler, and this is from Chloe Wood, which is Girl with a Gavel Stitches, and I just love that. So yes, I'll be looking forward to starting that at some point. So thank you very much, Noreen. That was very kind of you to share your spoils with us. And then towards the end of the day on the Sunday, I don't really quite understand why she was giving this chart out. But fortunately we were the first table she asked, because Rachel and I had only been talking about various things that we wanted to stitch, in the future. And I had said, we were talking about Kathy Barrick patterns, and I was saying that I love all of the Kathy Barrick girls, and one of these days I would love to have a wall of Kathy Barrick girls in sort of dark frames, and and Chloe Wood of Girl with Gavel Stitches came to our table and sort of said, I'm trying to give this one away, would anybody here be interested in it? Sorry, I'm just taking that off. And it is Miss Mary Hadley by Kathy Barrick. And so, of course, I jumped at the chance and said, yes, please, that can be the start of my girls' collection. I just think that skirt is going to be a pain in the backside to stitch. It really is, but it is fantastic. So it was very kind of her. She wouldn't take any money for it. It was... so I bit her hand off and took it. So thank you very much, Claire. It's very kind of you. And then we had various people on the table were very kind and had done sort of giveaways or table gifts and things. So we've definitely I've got to up my game for next year. But my friend Chris and we'd swapped presents at the Great British Sample Weekend. And I hadn't really got around to doing anything for this weekend, for the Stitches in London, but she had, which I felt very guilty. Not guilty enough that I wouldn't accept the present she was offering me, obviously, but I felt quite guilty. But she very kindly gave me this lovely notebook. It's just plain, but sort of journaly notebook. But it's on the front of it, it has this lovely cross stitch pattern on it. So it's absolutely lovely, and I shall be using this next year as my sort of journal for stitching and my Flosstube notes and all the rest of it. She also gave me the Bewitching Pumpkin, which is a Mill Hill ornament. I've never done a Mill Hill ornament, so there we go. I have that one to have a go at. So thank you very much. A lovely card, lovely words in it. And she also knitted me a cowl, because my knitting endeavours caused quite a bit of laughter at the table throughout the weekend. But she had knitted me this lovely cowl, which I wore on Saturday to a family party just down the road, and I managed to leave it at said family party. I know who has it, and I will be getting it back in a week or so's time. So I haven't got it here to show today, but it was absolutely lovely. So thank you very much, Chris. It was very, very kind of you. And hopefully, I think Chris, Rachel and I were talking about having a day in London, going to Loop in London, is it? Which is a lovely yarn shop. So hopefully we'll be doing that soon when we get it organised. But so thank you very much, Chris, for these. They were absolutely lovely and very kind of you, as usual. So that is the end of my cross-stitching section. As I said, I'm just going to carry on with my Heloise Cornu at the moment and more of the Christmas smalls. So quilting, so if you're leaving me here, goodbye, thank you very much, and I hope you come back when I next upload a video. Quilting wise, I've done very little, and I didn't even get the book out to show you. But so I have done, I can't remember which one, I think it must have been this one that I showed initially. So this was the first sort of diamond I'd put together of my Jane Austen quilt. And so I have put another one together that I am very pleased with. If I put it that way, that's not how it's going to sit, but if I put it this way, you can see all the colours in it. Because I did think, I thought, oh, this one's quite grey and light. And actually this one's got lots more colours in it, and so when you start sort of putting them together, it will all hopefully be spread out very nicely. But it did take me, so I took this to a quilting day because my machine that I normally take with me is broken at the moment. So, and this is hand pieced. And it did take me all day and some of the evening. So I had to put the sashing on as well as then join it all together. So yeah, it's not a small undertaking to get one of these done, but there we go. They are lovely when they are done, and I do enjoy doing it. The other quilt I'm working on at the moment is the Jen Kingwell Caution Curves Ahead. It is hard work. Rachel did say, do you actually like it? Yes, I do like it, but it is hard work, and I think my biggest not my biggest drawback to it, but is that I've chosen the colours myself, so I'm a little bit, I do just hope it all works out, you know, because it's hard work, or I'm finding it hard work, and quite time consuming. I'm hoping, I don't have much confidence in my colour selection, so I'm just hoping that when I have eventually got it all finished and put together, it does actually look okay, because I think if I got it all finished, put it together and it didn't look great, I might have to have a temper tantrum. So haul-wise, quilting-wise, I haven't got a huge amount. I've hung that piece up behind me. So I quite frequently get emails from Doughty's, which is a fabric company in England. They do a lot of their own road shows. They do go to shows as well. And they keep on sending me emails saying that this fabric is 10% off and whatnot. And it's always very nice fabric, so I always end up buying it. So I actually need to unsubscribe. I blame them. I really should just unsubscribe. But this is, Satin Moon Designs for the Blank Quilting Corp, and it's Deja Vu. Now, I'm not a huge skeleton person. I like Halloween, I like crows, I like spiders, I like witches, etc., etc. Not the biggest of skeleton fans, or skull and crossbone fan. But actually, I really, really like this piece, and I thought of all the Halloween bits, this was the one I liked most. So I bought this panel, and I then selected some other fabrics to go with it. So I then picked out this, which is not in the same line. This is Flying Witches from Kate Ward Thacker for Springs Creative. But I like those, they're just all, so you've got bats, black cat, flying witch. So I thought that was quite nice, and I think I'm just going to do a border. No, you can't see that at all. I'll do a border of that around. Then so this is what I think at the moment. It will probably all change when I eventually get around to doing this, because obviously don't need it now. need to get it done for next year. This one hasn't got a salvage on it. I don't know why, but this is just black with Irish spiders on it. So this is then going to be another border. I thought it goes quite nicely. And then onto this border, which will be a bit wider, I am going to cut out and then applique on these. And this is part of the same collection as this Satin Moon Designs for the Blank Quilting Corp Deja Vu. And this is all of these. And I think I've looked at it and I think I can there is just enough room, if I'm very, very careful, just enough room to be able to cut it out. And then I think I will just applique it on, just have these dotted around on this fabric on the border. That is my plan for the moment. Probably will change when I actually eventually get round to getting this out and starting it. But yes, so that was, or is, the only haul at the moment for quilting. I think, is that it? Yes, I think that's it for quilting. So I've only got knitting and crochet left now, so if you're leaving me here, thank you very much. And I will hopefully see you next month. So knitting, I haven't done huge amounts. I have started. So a while ago, Stitchy H sent me this Yorkshire Spinners yarn, sock yarn, because I said I'd wanted to learn how to knit socks. And so I knit this first one. I then knit, it does look a bit odd, it fits absolutely fine. I just haven't washed or blocked it. I then started a pair actually I'm wearing at the moment. I don't think I'm limber enough to get my leg up here. A pair that Alice and Stitchy Whippet had given me some yarn for. I finished that, which I think I showed in my last Flosstube. So I went back and I started the second sock. So I started this the night before I went down to stitch in London, because I actually took the train down there. And I thought, right, well, if I just get it cast on and the first round or two done, then I can sit and knit on the train. So I did that, and I did put my big girl pants on, and I did, because I was saying in my last video, I really struggle with that. So casting on is fine. I really struggle with that first round of ribbing. And so with the blue socks, I just knit the first round and then gone into the ribbing. And it was amazing how they flared out just for that one round not being ribbing. So I did put my big girl pants on and I did start straight away with ribbing. Started knitting on the way down there and put it away, and then I sort of got it out, I don't know, I don't think I actually got it out till Saturday evening. And I was looking at, I was counting the stitches, and I'd managed to drop it. So I'd got quite a lot of, I think I'd got most of the ribbing done. I'd managed to drop a stitch or lose a stitch because you couldn't actually see. There wasn't a ladder, there wasn't a hole. I don't know where it had gone. And I couldn't find it to get it back again. So obviously I restarted, and then I was struggling. I was just having a bit of a nightmare with it. So then, oh no, I didn't. No, so I didn't restart. So I realised I was one stitch down. So I thought, well, I'll just make a stitch on the next round. So then I made a stitch and carried on, and then I thought, I think I've got an odd number again. And I'd managed to increase my stitches by about 3 or 4 by this point. So at that point we gave up and just went and had a gin and tonic, because I'd had enough of it by then. So then I tried to restart it, pulled it all out, tried to restart it on Sunday, wasn't getting anywhere, gave up with it, threw it in the bag. Came home and I have started, and I have now got, I've done the heel turn, and I'm now working along the bottom of the foot. So it's all going fine. I had a dodgy moment there in my heel turn, I don't quite know why. And I've managed, I have to say, the one thing this is only my 4th individual sock that I've knit, but I have yet to end up with a hole at the sort of top of the heel, like a lot of people seem to do. However, I have managed to give myself a little bit of a hole on the front of the foot. but I will just stitch that up when I've finished. So yeah, so I've nearly finished that. So that will be 2 pairs of socks done this year. So very pleased with that when I get it finished. And then the other, so crochet wise, I have only been working on my daughter's blanket. So I was talking about this in my last video. My daughter has moved into her first flat with her partner, and I said, oh, would you like me to crochet your blanket? She chose the colours, and I did say at the time, oh, not the colours I would choose, but actually, now I've seen it coming together, it is actually quite nice. So this is a very, very vague daisy square pattern. I seem to have used 2 or 3 different tutorials and come up with this. So these are the individual squares as they are. And then I have put 4 rows together already. So actually when you see it all together like this, it is actually quite pretty. I do quite like it. And so I am basing it, when she initially said, oh, just a lap blanket will be great. So I looked up the lap blanket sizes, and they really were quite small, I felt. And then she was home a few weeks ago, and she was sitting on the sofa wrapped up in one of my Attic 24 blankets. And I said, you really need it to be that size so you can sort of fully wrap yourself up or get snuggled underneath it. And she said, yes, I do, if you don't mind, which is absolutely fine. So I think I've got 4 rows here. I think I'm going to aim for 10 rows. So I'll have 10 by 10, which is 100. And then I will just go round and do 2, 3, 4, however much yarn I've got left to use up, border. And I will probably do the border yellow, white, pink in that order. And so that's, yeah, they're fine. They're coming along. I seem to find when I started doing them, I was doing each square individually. And I actually seem to find it a bit quicker. Not that it's a race, but it has got to be, or it would be nice if it could be done for Christmas. I do actually find it's just easier to do the middles. So I've done 10 middles, then add the whites, and then go around and do the pinks. And I seem to just get a sort of bit more of a bulk session done that way. And obviously this is very good for in the car. And particularly if you only take 1 or 2 colours. It's quite good if you're going away. So that's it really. And that's all I think I've got to talk about. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. This is, yeah, it's not too long, but it's not too short. So my general plans, I've talked about the cross stitch planning. Quilting is just to keep on with the 2 quilts that I've got. Finish my sock. I would like to get a jumper started. So it was one of my plans this year to try and start a jumper. But I would like to get this finished first. So if I can get this finished within the next, probably, if I can get this finished by December, I might start a jumper in December. But yeah, so I will finish that sock and just keep on working on this. And I think that's it. So if I'm going to see you on Saturday, or if you haven't watched this till afterwards and I saw you on Saturday, hello, and I hope you had a good day. And if you haven't been there yet, please come and say hello. And ditto for the Essex Needles Retreat. And other than that, it's very nearly Christmas. It's getting very exciting. I've just been making some mincemeat. I made my cake, forgot to put the treacle in it. And it's only 1 tablespoon. And everyone I've sort of mentioned it to has just laughed and then said, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. I think, okay. So I might buy one just in case it is shocking. It seems to be okay. It was only 1 spoonful, so hopefully it'll be all right. Just made some mincemeat. And yeah, just slowly starting to try and get children to give me ideas for Christmas presents. So I will see you at any of the retreats, and if not, I hope to be back at the beginning of December. So have a lovely, lovely November. Take care, stay safe, and yeah, bye.